This is the Sunseeker Predator 60 EVO, and it replaces the Sunseeker Predator 57, a very popular boat, of which Sunseeker sold over 100 models. There are three engine options, two shaft of 900 and 1000 horsepower, or an IPS version with 725 horsepower. Prices start from just over £1.3 million.
So as I mentioned, there are three engine options on this boat, two shaft drive and one IPS. This particular boat has got the smallest shaft drive option, which is a pair of Volvo Penta D13s with 900 horsepower. Doesn't mean it's sluggish though. We got 33 knots today on a two-way run top speed, and it means that you can cruise anywhere between 20 knots like we're doing now for 200 litres an hour combined, and really 30 knots if you're in a bit of a hurry, but that sweet spot is probably between 22 and 25 knots. Now the boat's got fly-by-wire steering, and a lot of the time that means the steering is overly light. You turn the wheel and then after a second the boat reacts, but this boat reacts far more quickly than that. The steering is quite meaty. Despite being light and very easy to move around, you've got quite good feel. You can almost feel the rudders going through the water. And it's agile as well, you know, it's a big boat this. It's good fun to chuck around a bit, and especially if you're in a big following sea, that agility would be very welcome. It's quiet too. We've got the doors open at the moment as we're travelling along now, and still I can talk at a normal volume, don't have to raise my voice too much. It does mean that you hear a bit of squeaking coming from the trim up here, but I think that is just a trim issue, nothing to do with the structure, because in general the boat feels incredibly solid. It's been quite choppy out here and it doesn't slice through like a knife, but it certainly romps through nice and comfortably. Really doesn't feel too bothered by the conditions we've encountered today at the tail end of Storm Brendan. What about the driving environment? Well, generally it's very good. It's a really nice clean helm. Obviously you've got your two 16-inch screens here, and they can actually be controlled from the multifunction steering wheel. Of course they're completely touchscreen, but if you don't want to take your hands off the wheel, you don't have to reach forward, you can use the buttons here alongside the wheel hub. And it means that there are very few buttons here on the dashboard. You've got a few down here for stuff that you might use regularly. Then a lot of the functions are in the CMake system here, which controls wipers, ventilation, etc. You've got a whole remit of different functions you can use through that screen there. It's lovely and bright here as well, because you have this huge sunroof, and even when it's closed, because there's glass in it, it's very bright, and it means that in hard turns you can sort of look through the roof and still see what's either side of you. Quite a thick mullion to starboard here, but because this window extends a long way forward, it's easy to put your head over here, and it means you can see if there's anything coming from the starboard side. Generally the position is pretty good. I could probably do with this chair coming forward a little bit more so you don't have to perch on the edge of your seat, but when you're cruising you're just going to sit back anyway, probably stick the boat on autopilot and let it do its thing. But the relationship between the wheel and the throttles is very good. Got trim tab controls down here. I haven't used the trim all day. It's got a really nice natural balance, this boat. Even when you're getting up onto the plane you don't feel the need to put the tabs down. Runs nice and level. I haven't had to touch those at any point. One of the Predator 60 EVO's best assets is this massive carbon fibre sliding roof. I mean, it's great when it's shut because there's glass in it, but when it's open it just transforms this main deck, along with that door there which slides down into the deck. It feels like you've got two boats in one. On a warm day you can open up this area completely and you're in touch with the environment. On a winter's day you close it up, shut the door, turn the Eberspacher on, and you can go boating in just a t-shirt. Some other nice points at this helm: if it's a bit too cold to have the roof right open but you want some natural ventilation, you have this window here, fast acting as well, goes down nice and quickly so you can get a little bit of breeze in if you want, and also it means you can stick your head out and shout at your crew when you're coming alongside. The other thing is this section here, so you've got a wireless charging mat for a mobile phone. You've also got a slot for an iPad with a charger built into it as well, so if you're using an iPad with Navionics for example as your backup navigation, you have a dedicated slot for it there. Now, because this boat has a tender garage, which is big enough for a Williams 345 jet rib, it means that the bathing platform is left completely clear. This one's hydraulic, so it goes down into the water and actually has steps built in, so you have an easy way to step from the platform back up onto the deck. There's an option, you can have a flip down bench here on the transom, so you can sort of perch and look aft if the kids are swimming in the water, for example. And there's also a crew cabin on this boat. It is an option. You access it through here. It's pretty tight because the bed has to go underneath the tender garage, of course. But as I said, it's an option that some people may want. There's also a little loo down there, but if you don't want the cabin, you can just have it as a really good dry storage space. Some other nice little touches include the fact that the shore power and washdown cables are hidden behind a nice little unit here in the steps, and you also have a repeater for the Fusion AV system back here because you've got speakers under this moulding. Engine room access is through a hatch in the cockpit. Doesn't matter whether you've got IPS or shaft drives, that's the way you get down here to the engine room. And once down, it's very good. There's a bit of an intrusion back here from the tender garage moulding, but actually over the engines itself, there's enough room for you to inspect them. You can get around all sides and it's easy enough to do daily service checks. Very tidy installation as well. Sunseeker have done a good job here. Not full standing headroom. You can just about stoop like that. But in general, it's a decent space. Now up here in the cockpit, the seating is biased to port, but there is still a small walkway up from the bathing platform, so you can get down that side of the boat and forward. And it's a really nice seating area here. It's well protected by the overhang. The seating is very, very comfortable, and the table's in half now, but of course it will go to full size if you want to seat more people around. You could put a couple of directors' chairs here as well, so you can get some people this side of the table. You have a wet bar out here as well. Really great place to serve this area. Under here you have the usual stuff. You have a grill, sink, and then inside these two hatches you've got an ice maker and a fridge. This section here, if you have the optional joystick, you can have a third station here. In fact, you can probably have one with just the shafts and the thrusters, but if you wanted that, say if you're berthing stern to in the med, it means you can come back here and control the boat from just here. And this is a nice little touch. Your bin is tucked away in that section there. But a really key feature that's come across from the 57, this boat's predecessor, is this door here that drops down into the deck. So at the touch of a button, once you've obviously slid this section across, the doors come together and it goes down into a void between the engine room and the master cabin bulkhead. And then once that's right down, you have this brilliant connection between this internal seating area here and the one outdoors. And obviously it's very flexible. You could have the roof open and this closed, or like we have now, roof closed and this open. It makes it a very, very flexible main deck, and a very, very bright one, because as I've mentioned, when you've got this overhead with all the glass in it, even when it's closed, it's lovely and bright in here, and the windows are absolutely enormous. Now elsewhere, this is where your television lives. There's a little button inside this cupboard here, and what I like about this is that you don't have to hold it down. You just press up and up it goes, does its job opposite the dinette here. This table here, this is in sort of coffee table mode. It goes up and down as well, but it will also fold out like this, and then there's a little catch here and it just slides across. Really nice mechanism. Then it's in the middle of the dinette and it's more of a sort of dining table setup. And there's some lovely detailing going on as well. There's little touches of carbon fibre here and there. This handhold down here, this handle is a really nice solid piece of metal. This incidentally is another fridge. So you've got a fridge out there, a fridge here, and a fridge downstairs. There's plenty of cooling space on this boat, and they like this sort of nice scallop look on the back of the helm seats here. They're set a bit too far back for me, but they're very comfortable when you're sitting in them. They look nice as well. Of course, downstairs we have more accommodation, so let's head down there. Now it feels quite traditional to be downstairs in the galley on a modern sports cruiser, but I have to say I think this layout works really well. You get a really big galley. I mean, look at all the countertop space you get. Massive sink, 4-ring hob, oven, loads and loads of storage. And you know, Sunseeker's boat building prowess, it isn't all just flash stuff. There's some really nice, smart boat building here. Everything's got a catch on it so it locks shut. There's fiddles here so stuff can't come flying out. The boats look good, but you know, they don't forget the important stuff, the practical side of boating as well. Loads of storage up there. You have a dishwasher here, and then you have your main fridge down here. Really decent size for, you know, what's essentially a boat you're going to be using in the sun. But then you also have a dinette down here. If the weather is bad, you can tuck yourself down here. You can imagine the kids tucked down here on a rainy day, the PlayStation plugged into this TV here. You can get nice and cozy, and obviously you're going to have some prying eyes up there. There's a lot of glass, people can see you. It's a little bit more private down here. If you head right forward, you have the VIP cabin. It's a really good size, nice big bed. You can have scissor action berths there as an option. That's the fixed double in there. There's a day head over there, and it's en suite to that cabin as well. And I should mention that if you don't want the dinette, you can have more storage here. It's like an extended galley. You get more countertop, you get another fridge, and you can have a washing machine there as well if you want. There's another cabin here. This is the twin guest cabin, a couple of bunks in there, and then we have the master cabin and midships, which we're going to have a proper look at. This is a really great cabin. The main thing is how good the headroom is. I'm about 6 foot and there's plenty of room above my head, and there's no intrusions anywhere as you walk around the cabin, none overhead and none on the floor either. The floor is completely flat. Once you're down into the cabin, you're not going to chip over anything or stub your toe. Storage is pretty good. You've got a big hanging locker over on that side, and this is a nice little area here, little dressing table, but inside you have some more shelf storage. There's a safe and there's a couple of more pop-out drawers as well, and that attention to detail carries over to the bedside tables where you've got leather and wood and nice stainless steel bedside lights here. You've even got a little tray lined with stainless steel and leather for your jewellery. And of course you've got these big windows either side, so you have water level views, plenty of natural light gets in here as well, and you also have a nice ensuite bathroom on the way out of the cabin. Something that's been catching me out today is the little step that leads up to the helm here. I'm sure it's something you get used to if you own the boat, but I've been in and out a few times and I've caught my foot on it, so just something to watch out for if you value your toenails. But there is a nice detail down here, which is that there's a little teak step that will drop down, so that when it's down, if you've got the sunroof open, you can get your head clear of the windscreen surround and you can look out over the bow. That'll be quite nice in really good weather, or if you're berthing, for example. In replacing the Predator 57 with this 60 model, Sunseeker didn't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater, because that was a very successful formula. They sold over 100 boats. So they've kept what worked, like this massive carbon fibre roof and the doors that slide down into the deck. But here in the interior, they've just improved the attention to detail, the quality a little bit. It just feels that bit more special. And overall it means that a package that was already very good is an even better all-rounder.